Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's another little peek behind the amber curtain. In association with Lucky Star Gin, I'm your host, Mike. Welcome back to everyone who's a regular listener, and hello to anyone who's joining us for the first time. Today, I'm delighted to talk to someone who really didn't have much choice in his career because his name is Rob the Chef, I believe. Hello, Rob. How are you?
I'm good. This is it's lovely to be on here. We finally got there. We've been trying to get this locked down for so long.
We did indeed. It was finally the diaries kind of aligned, and I was like, right, we're going now. But it's been a bit of a busy summer for you. Have you had much time to sort of sit back and think, what the hell is going on? What have I done?
Not really, because we've spent much of the summer getting stuck into getting everything ready for the new season. And alongside my other business, it's kind of just been go, go, go. We've been loading everything in over the 4-week break. I think it's a 4-week break we had. I'm not sure on the exact break time. It wasn't a break for us, basically.
Yeah.
No, but it's lots of preparation, lots of refurbishment of the club, new hospitality units outside, menu planning, getting suppliers lined up, all those bits and pieces. It's been quite the players have rested, I haven't.
It's the fans are rested. It's behind the scenes at a football club. There's always everyone go, 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 and we're all just quite happy on our holidays.
Yeah.
Right, I've missed one of my slots. It's engagement. Don't forget, everyone, like, share, follow, retweet, comment, all the rest of the stuff that sort of gets this into front of more eyes. So, Rob, I've done a little bit of research. Your surname isn't the Chef. It's just every time anyone ever talks about you, it's Rob the Chef, Rob the Chef, or Chef Rob, as you said.
Yeah, Ben likes to go with Chef Rob.
Chef Rob, yeah. So I've done a little bit of research. So some of this hopefully is vaguely true. You've credited your mum as a big inspiration to your cooking as growing up in sort of Devon. What did she do? What kind of sparked that interest in cooking, and sort of what age are we talking?
So we're talking pre-secondary school age. Picturesque on the stool next to mum while she's cooking for us. What's that taste like? Eating the cake batter when you're not meant to eat the cake batter. That really. I always think that kind of spiked my interest in food. It was from a young age, really. Everything food related in the house. My mum was and still is celiac, so she's gluten free. So before it became a fad, before it became on every single shelf in the supermarkets, we had to go and get her food from the pharmacy. It was crazy. It's bonkers to think that was the case. You had to get a prescription from a doctor to go and get food that she could eat that wouldn't make her sick. And so there would be a lot of care at home with her making the stuff that we could have and she could have. And so I found that really super interesting. And then coming back home from school, it's red peppers, green tomatoes, Ainsley Harriet, and mum would sit me down in front of that while she did whatever she was doing, or maybe going and doing something for one of my other siblings. And then I studied at school as well. My first job was in a pub near where I live. and that kind of, I guess, started everything, started the wheels in motion. Yeah, food's wicked. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. It's interesting because obviously you'd be looking at these specialist foods and trying to say, well, we don't need it just to be fuel. It should be tasting nice as well. So you'd obviously have that from your childhood, which is which is interesting because yeah, I'm a bit older and all that kind of stuff was what that's a bit weird. So it's just like have that. That'll do.
Yeah, it is amazing how food has evolved, but I think this the same what is amazing about food and how we as society utilize food is that it's still a coming together of people.
Mhm.
It's I mean, yeah, there are times when we sit and eat it by ourselves and stuff like that, but that's probably because we're living a busy schedule, we're running around, but there's always with food, there's always a coming together of people, and um, that's amazing. That's one of the things we have and we still hold on to. I love it. There's nothing better than sitting around a table. It doesn't happen very often with me. I'm up here in London, and my a lot of my family are in Devon. So getting together at Christmas or at a wedding or a birthday, you're around the table and you're sharing food, and it's been done like that for since the dawn of humankind, cavemen era. We're talking,
Yep.
hunter gatherer. I love that. I love that so much.
Well, you mentioned you grew up in Devon and you trained in Devon, and then you came to London,
Mm.
and you're working with I've got Michelin star chefs. What was that jump like from early working in a pub and then suddenly in the kitchen being shouted at?
Um, well, no, I was shouted at in the first kitchen as well. I was shouted at in the pub. The pub that I worked at was an absolute machine, and it's still. I went back to Devon a week or so ago, and I actually connected with one of the guys who started working there. So I'm still friends with the people who work there still now or have left there, which is really special. You form this new bond in the kitchen. But there we were doing peak. It's seasonal, so it's busy in the summer, quiet in the winter. But we were doing peak August 700 covers on a Saturday evening. That's with about 12, 15 people. That's insane. It's like crazy. They're still doing those types of numbers now, and I caught up with Jacques. Um, it's incredible. And then, so that was very intense, constant go, 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 go. You just didn't stop running. And then it became about sort of honing that in, maybe slowing down a little bit and refining the practices. Um, Chef that I first started working with, Olivier, he traditional French chef, amazing, but shouty, and but he was good, and you learn a lot from him. Ian, a guy who a lot of my skills have come through from him, and Paul, the two, some people I cannot not mention, they were kind of the balance of the two, where they had done the whole shouty kitchen of the 90s and the 80s, and they were, I think it's the point in any chef life where they're just over shouting, they're just done shouting, and they're just like, you know, he was more about teaching, and yeah, when the push comes to shove, you gotta, when people need to shout, they need to shout. Um, but if something's going wrong if people are shouting, right? Usually it's a sign maybe people have lost control. Now that type of environment is almost gone, almost gone. Yeah, it's very calm, focused environments kitchens are now.
Well, I guess a lot of it is we now know that um, that chef isn't out in the kitchen preparing 700 meals. They've got a whole team. But
Mm.
earlier back in the day, people had the impression that if you
Yeah.
messed up on a dish, that was the actual chef. So it was their name that the dishes you were putting out was under their name. So I guess a lot of them were quite protective. Um,
But yeah, and that's where a lot of the frustration I imagine would come from. Chef Patron, it's your name's above the door. It's on you. It's on you. That's who they're going to come pointing at afterwards. Um, but yeah, there's certainly a team element to delivering of anything, just like in football, right? You know, it's not all on one person. It's not all on the striker. It's not all on the goalie. Although maybe in a penalty situation it might all be on the goalie. But then then the training, the stuff behind that, it's not just the onus of one person. It's the same with the chef brigade. It's similar to a football team in that sense.
Gutted, I didn't think of that, to be honest. That would have been a nice little analogy. I'm really annoyed now.
But outside of football as well, it's the same in an office environment, any company structure. Yeah, you have the spearhead figure at the top, but everyone below that, everyone has to be doing their bit for it to work. So look at a football club. It's if the person issuing and selling the tickets aren't doing their job, if the person picking up the rubbish at the end of the match isn't doing their job, then come the next match day, everything's not in line. So everyone's important, no matter if you're at the top or the bottom. It's like in the kitchen. If the person washing the dishes isn't, and that's a hard job. It's really, really hard, and it's so important to kitchen, so important, and it's always overlooked.
I wish the dishes at home, and that's hard enough. I'm not going to do 700.
Everyone's important on a team. Super important.
So you've then sort of travelled all over the world, and you're working with different chefs all over the world. How did that kind of shape you, and what lessons have you taken from that and the different cuisines? Is there anything you're in particular influenced by?
It was an amazing experience. So traveling around with McLaren Formula One team and some time Mercedes as well. It was an amazing experience, one that I never thought I would do. I didn't even comprehend that role existed. People think Formula One, they think cars, mechanics, engineers, but these people need to be fed. That team needs to be fed. And so when I started working there, I'd done a bit of traveling, but not to the extent that I experienced with Formula One. And as an individual, putting food to the side for a moment, as an individual, you open your eyes to such a broad array of culture, lifestyle, way of life, climates, traffic, all these things, like the morning commute. Everywhere, every big city has a morning rush hour, and it all looks very different. And then everyone's food, how everyone eats, when they eat. In the Middle East, people go out a lot later because of the temperature. So that's probably why you see in London a lot of Middle Easterns out much later in the evening, because they're used to it, so their lifestyle. And I learned a lot of lessons whilst traveling. One, how to really dig in and work hard. I thought I'd worked hard before, but working on a Formula One team, you put in a shift and then some. If you're their lifeline in terms of food, so if the car goes wrong or has a crash and they need to work later, and you need to do a dinner for a load of mechanics or a load of engineers who are going to have to work an extra 6 hours, so you stick around and you do it for them because it's important. Again, if that person, that one cog doesn't do its job, the team doesn't work. So putting in an extra 6 hours or 4 hours at the end of a shift, you learn to adapt on the go. Maybe from a food point of view, maybe the supplier that you've ordered from has delivered substandard quality of produce, but because you're on the move, it's not like you have a long-standing relationship with a supplier. It's like a flash in the pan moment, then you move on. Whereas like here in London, if my supplier sends me bad stuff, I'll send it straight back and it'll be replaced the following day. You don't necessarily have the time for that in these countries. So have to be reactive as well. Maybe some menu changes on the go. And so a lot in terms of being adaptable, working under pressure, working in a small team as well, working in a very small team, and what a small team can achieve when they're all driving in the right direction. It was hard. It was fun times.
Fun to look back on.
It's a young man's game, I would say, but there are a lot of people in there who have been in there their entire lives and have done like 40, 50 years in Formula One. How their wives and put up with it, I don't know, or their husbands put up with it, I don't know. But I did it for 7 years, so 2009, 2016. And that was by the point where I was like, you know, you're living out of a suitcase. When you strip it all back, the glitz and the glam of Formula One, you strip it back, your airports, hotels, track, living out of a suitcase, changing time zones every week, jet lag, but going to work as well. The occasional party thrown into the mix just to blow off some steam and have a few beers and have a bit of a party because you need to do that. I think everyone needs to have a few beers every now and again, or sit and have a beer, or relax. And yeah, it was good fun. A lot of lessons learned, a lot of fun had, and a lot of skills learned as well. Yeah, it was some good times. I miss them, but they sit there in memory proudly.
Yeah, it's when you're looking back, I do miss those things, and you have to tell yourself, no, hang on, this is the other side of that coin that I don't miss. I've got the lovely rose tinted spectacles to look on, but there's other things that went behind it.
But that's always the problem. So since leaving Formula One, I've had job offers to go back into Formula One,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh yeah, it'd be great, I can do this. And you just think initially your mind goes to the experience, the traveling, the doing all this. Take a beat, take a breath, and actually be like, okay, well, hold on a minute. I'm doing 16, 17-hour days. I'm not seeing my family as often. I miss out on the weddings and the birthdays, etc. I don't see my friends, and I'm exhausted by the end of it. So maybe not take it, and maybe just go on holiday, scratch the extra travel. Yeah.
well, I was actually surprised because when I was kind of asking about the experiences, I thought, I bet this is going to be an answer of, yeah, we go to the airport, we go to the hotel and the trailer, and then we go back to the hotel. We then go back to the airports. We didn't see anything at all. But it's nice to know that you actually got to see various parts of the countries as well and experience them.
Yeah, and our
Um,
trailer, our catering trailer, I think it's about £2 million worth of one kitchen trailer that travelled everywhere with us. Yeah, it was a pretty bougie kitchen to be working out of.
are we going to see that? No. So there were different sort of people that you've mentioned, the mechanics. There was like bosses, sponsors, and the drivers as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So we look after drivers, team owners, shareholders, guests of as well. So we'd have like lots of celebrities coming through as well. That are friends of, say, Lewis Hamilton. So in my time being there, we looked after. We had Lewis. We had Jensen. Who else do we have? Stoffel Van Dorn, Sergio Perez, or Checo, as he's sort of more commonly known. Fernando Alonso. Um, Kevin Magnussen. Yeah, we experienced quite a few. It was yeah. So you get I think um, the amazement with the celebrityism, or like that sphere. You learn to shake it pretty quickly when you're there, and just because you get to work so closely with them, you realise that they're people doing a job, doing the best of what they want to do, and doing it at a very high level. And they just don't like the harassment. So if you just sit and have a normal conversation, it's like, I think it's like a breath of fresh air, because every other person that they meet, between their own safe space in the motorhome and the team building to the car, it's just everyone like photos, autographs, all that kind of stuff. And that motorhome is like that safe space for them. That's their home, away from home, where they know all the team, they know the chefs, we know their favourites, all that kind of stuff. And it's yeah, it's that was quite cool. That was quite cool to meet some of the people like that.
So the main question there is Lewis as intense about his food as he seems about everything else?
Just about onions. Just about onions. I'm not gonna dive into his likes and dislikes, but I know he's very much not a fan of onions. I believe he's now a vegan as well. I think he wasn't when I was there, but I think he made the switch around
what did you
about.
do to him?
I think I think a lot of people have made that switch in terms of lifestyle. I went vegetarian for a year whilst working trackside, and as a chef, it was one of the hardest things to do when you're not exclusively cooking vegetarian or vegan food. But I was probably the best shape I'd ever been in, and I felt good. I think it's a good path. I'm not like a pusher of it. I don't encourage it. Give me a good steak and I'm good to go. But I think it's a good way of life. Yeah. But I know onions because we could never make tomato sauce with onions for his pasta.
Wow.
Yeah. So don't go chasing him with white onions down the street.
Empire. So you then have been working to sort of pressured situations and the food and putting out lots of food with different people, nutrition and all the rest of it. You then switched gears completely. That was a Formula One thing. Switched gears, let's say, into becoming into chocolate. Do you remember your thought process of how you went, right, I'm putting this to one side and I'm going to concentrate on chocolate, and what kind of helped you make that decision?
So it was a weird journey how I got there. So in Montreal, whilst in my last year, well, I'd seen it a few years and I went there every year. So the Bahrain the Bahraini consort who owned 30%, I think it was, of McLaren, they would come to every race and they always wanted a nice dark chocolate or a nice selection of chocolates to have after their food or with tea or something. And so we'd always go out and find some. And in Montreal, there's an amazing market called Atwater, and they have all these artisan shops, fishmonger, butchers, veg store, dry goods, everything you could think of, bakers, and they have this small chocolate shop. And they weren't making their own, but they just had like every bar from everywhere under the sun. And so I just brought some, and I found it really cool how there could be so many different types of chocolate. I'd never really thought I knew it existed, but I never really thought about it in that much depth. So I brought a couple, and I was like, "This is amazing." Went from there, and then I decided to leave. Went back, kept going back and forth from there anyway, and I started looking into it more and more and more. And I decided I wanted to leave Formula One, 2016, end of 2016. I was like, what am I going to do? And when I stepped out, I was kind of having a bit of a break. And then I met up with a very long friend of mine. I've been friends with him since I first moved to London. And he said, look, we're starting this project with the Rothschild family. We're helping them do this project. Do you want to get involved? It's with chocolate. And I was like, yeah, I'm there. I'm done. That was like the sign for me. I was like, I've been umming and ahhing about doing something. I was like, yeah, I want to get involved. So that was great. So did some product development with them and got to hone a little bit of skills there. I also did a little bit of the sort of broader kitchen business elements of things and product costings and sort of a little bit more in depth. And from that, it was like, wow, this is like an amazing. People want to buy this amazing like creative chocolate that you can just make. Theirs was very traditional in style, and they wanted to keep it that way. I wanted to evolve the product range into a very modern style, like what I do now, where it's very colourful, it's very characterful, and they didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep to their traditional style, which is, I get it. It's traditional name, traditional brand, traditional style. I get it. So then at that point, that was after 2 years of being with them. At that point, I decided to leave them, and I then randomly I needed to make money to make a lot more money to be able to set up my own chocolate shop, right? So I then went to Saudi. I disappeared to Saudi, took a chef job out there. So I was back and forth between Saudi and the UK on and off for about a year, sorry. And that just basically helped fund the start of XO. And yeah, then that kick-started in early 2020. And then COVID happened. It's like wicked.
Yeah. Well, that bit was missing from mine. I was trying to line up all the dates, and I was like, I've got some time missing here. I was thinking it doesn't work. But so yeah, 2020, you
Yes.
you decided you had enough money, you were all right, you'd be fine for a couple of years, and you did XO chocolate. First of all, what was the name?
Or XO.
Yeah,
Well, do you know, I was going around the house for so long on the name, and everywhere I looked, it was like, I don't know, insert name, chocolate company, established, I don't know, 2018 or whatever. And because I don't want my name above the door, I don't want it to be about me. It may be the product I'm making, but it's not about, and the reason why I'm doing it is not about me, it's about people. It's about, they're bringing together, like I mentioned earlier, the bringing together of people, the sharing, the emotive side of chocolate, which I think is overlooked a lot. Um, and that's kind of why. So EXO, I thought it was a bit cheesy at first, but then I was like, actually, no, I was like, more often than not, when you're gifting a box, um, it's like, you're giving it for a gesture of love or friendship, or, we sign off our cards XO, be it for a loved one or someone that we're friends with or what have you. I sign off my emails to pretty much anyone to XO. And I'm not talking a signature, I'm just like, double check yours.
I'm just gonna have a look now.
No, I did just I'm not. But mostly I just put a little XO there. I think it's for me that's the important side of chocolate. It's building the connection, helping people explore chocolate and get to know more about it, and but creating those moments that maybe I have or my staff will have in the shop across the counter where people are like, oh, this tastes amazing, this is wonderful, or a hot chocolate on a winter's day. It's like, oh, it's that warming feeling. All those are little, they're really like little love
Yeah,
moments. They're happy moments, and so um, yeah, I guess that's EXO kind of happened into that. And little secret that I'll let you in on. I don't know how much coverage you get on this, so I don't know if I should say it or not. It's a
about
personal thing
more.
for me. So XO, you've got for no Roman numeral, you've got 10 for the X in
Yeah,
O, so zero. So for me, it's a reminder to give 100% in what I do. Um, but that's just for me. It's also like allowing people. It can be, it means to me different to what it means to someone else. So if
yeah.
you're gifting a box to your wife or your friend, they're going to mean two different things. And so it allows the gifter to make that choice.
Well, I can't remember where the source I got this from, but the idea apparently was breaking the rules between sweet, savoury, and tradition. Um, what does that look like?
I want to know where you got that from too, because I don't remember putting it out there, but someone might have done that in an interview. It's about using traditional application of chocolate, so the traditional methods that we do chocolate's a science, so we have to follow the rules. It's not like we can just throw something. We can throw a block of butter in, and we can um, throw a bag of chocolate in and a jug of cream in. It doesn't work like that because everything would be out of balance potentially. So tradition is following traditional method, and modern um, the modern application in terms of its visual appearance and some of the flavor creations we make might not be traditional in style, might be a bit quirky, a bit unique. Popping candy, don't think I did that a long time ago. But and then savory, bringing savory elements to chocolate, it's so missed. So in 2023, I did a white truffle chocolate and won an international gold award. So like we're competing against like Harrods and stuff like that, and we beat them in our group. So um, you wouldn't necessarily think to pair truffle with chocolate. It's mind blowing. Truffle is a mushroom type product. Mushroom with chocolate works just as well. It's sumac, a Turkish spice, Middle Eastern spice, I use it in chicken. The players have it on their chicken sometimes, but it has a nice red citrusy appearance and flavor. Works great in a caramel. Um, what else have we got that I've done recently? It's saffron. Saffron's great in chocolate. Expensive. I don't do it too often, but you know, but things trying to find savory ingredients that work with buckwheat. Buckwheat works with chocolate. Um, there's so many different things you can do. There's so much, um, yes, a broad array of things you can do with chocolate. It's almost endless to a certain degree.
Well, I've seen also your the sort of the design site described as sort of a vibrant box of jewels, your chocolate, um, and your shops as stunning. I mean, how much is that part of the whole experience as well as the taste?
So 100%, it has to be 100% a part of the experience. So we as humans rely on our senses when we eat, but also the environment in which we're eating in or being in will affect us on the day or the morning after. You know, so we try and create these nice, inviting spaces, and uh, with a little bit of modern elegance, I guess, but approachable. We don't want to block people away or create a space that's too intimidating, or um, too unique that you ostracize certain groups of people.
Yeah.
It's about making it nice, well presented, simple, and just done well. Just doing things in a simple but effective and efficient way, an elegant way. It's it's a perfect recipe. So it's super important. It's super important. The aesthetic of everything comes together. It marries with the chocolate. Um, but also, there's something to be said that I could create a space that looks like I don't know, like an alleyway, trash cans, and all that kind of stuff, and have some artistic spin on it with chocolates. You know, there's creative ways to do things like that. If you have a budget to do it, I hope. Yeah.
Well, you hinted at this. You kind of saved. You put the work in for that sort of year, 18 months, where you're going back and forth to the Middle East, and you open your first store, boutique, not store, sorry, in Wimbledon. And you've also got one in central London as well. Um, what has been the biggest hurdles? I'm guessing COVID's going to be mentioned in a minute. Along the way, and sort of where was the point that you're thinking this is good? I've made the right decision here, or have you reached that yet?
I guess it's a daily question I ask myself. But some of the biggest hurdles were, yeah, sure, COVID, C word. Um, that was a real shock. I didn't know what to do. Um, that happened, and so I was like, okay, so I'll just close everything, follow suit. Because of the timing in which we set up our business, we weren't eligible for the government relief, because it was something like 3 days, and
Yeah,
so the local borough wouldn't release the money to us, and I had to go and basically send a letter to the local MP being like, 3 days, we miss it and everything's completely gone. I was like, this is some exceptions need to be made. This is a unique set of circumstances. Um, and they were in the end supportive. But so initially we closed the shop and followed suit of everyone else. I then disappeared back to Devon. Probably shouldn't have done that given the lockdown rules. Um, I disappeared back to Devon to look after and be with my parents. We've got a lot of space out there, so I stayed in the outbuilding and just to be near them in case they needed me. I then start doing some maintenance work for my stepdad, helping him out, and I end up having a metal pole, go through my leg, which was shot out by a tree stump grinder. He had some tree stumps. I had the time. I was getting rid of them for him, and it shot through my leg, and so severed all my leg muscle through the bone. And yeah, it's horrible. So I'm then laying in a field, like in this woodland, an ambulance on the way, and I then spend the next 3 days, 4 days in hospital, a couple of operations, and my legs all strapped up. I'm in a boot. I couldn't move my foot because I'd severed all the muscles. And then that was me in Devon for about 3 months, 3.5 months, just learning to walk on that foot again. And then I came back, opened the shop on crutches, and I couldn't get physio, so I still couldn't move my foot at this point. I couldn't get physio, and then a big shout out to this guy. I've got a lot of love for this guy. He's the Harlequins, or was, not sure if he still is, the Harlequins physio. He came into the shop because we could do one in, one out, get a coffee, a couple of chocolates, and he lived down the end of the road. And he gave me he's like, come over, give you free physio, and he like hooked machines up to my legs, got my foot moving in within like a couple of days, and walking by, I don't know, must have been within 7 days, like almost a full range of movement in my foot. It was incredible. So that was like the biggest challenge. And then I guess from then on, the challenge is understanding business really and making mistakes along the way, selling the product too cheap, selling the product too high, not getting the business, those types of things. Dealing with plumbing issues, dealing with electrical issues, all those types of things that you suddenly have to wear the hat for. Those were some quite challenging times. And then getting the second shop, people probably think you do one, it's going to be easy just to do the second, but it's the hardest step. It's the hardest step. So had some really challenging times. And then we got to a stable point in and amongst the middle of that, where we're doing really well and we have good stock laid down. We've got a long shelf life on our products, and I have all this time, and then enter Sutton United.
That's exactly the next question. How did that kind of come about? I was expecting when you started saying the physio came into your shop, I was like, oh no, was that Kat? Was that Bobby? What? How did that happen?
Although Kat, I hurt my shoulder when we were putting in the new hospitality unit. Kat had to give me some physio, bless her. Big shout out to Kat. And Paul and all the other guys and the interns there put my shoulder right in a couple of days. So big shout out to them, big love. So someone at the club approached me and was like, hey, team need a chef to support them on a nutritional basis, someone who's worked with athletes and stuff like that before. And so I was like, cool. How many days a week, or what's the deal? And I went over to Hindon. I met with Matt Gray and Sean and just had a chat. I was like, what are you guys looking for? How can I help? What are you getting at the moment? Where do you want to be? And it kind of went from there really. It was like 2 days a week initially. And then they're like, I don't know, we want to end up getting to 4. And then as the guys are going through the season and getting more stuck in, and then it was 3 days, and it was 4. And it was kind of like that for like a season. And I then initially split the role down with a colleague of mine who works on a freelance basis with me, and we've worked in Saudi together for years. We've known each other for about 8 years. And it went from there really. And that was 3 years ago now. I think 2021, mid 2021, I think it was when I sort of stepped in and started helping out.
So did you know of Sutton beforehand, or was this just a job?
I didn't know of football before. I was not, before 2020, I wasn't a football person, really, to be honest with you. I didn't know of Sutton. I didn't know of, I don't know, Brentford. I didn't know of Brighton and Hove Albion, or if that's what they're called. I don't know. I'm still learning about football now. But I understood the fuel that people needed to work at optimum. And so like meeting the players and stuff like that on that first year was great. They were really welcoming, really lovely. But they were like, yeah, I'm the number 9, whatever. And I'm like, cool, what does that mean? It's like, yeah, brilliant, that's wicked, mate. Move along, someone waiting for you.
Take the chicken and move on.
Yeah, and they would, they'd tell me they'd say all kinds of things like, I can't even name to you now their position or what they did. And so I would ask questions like, what does your role do? Like, what's your purpose on the team? Like, not in a condescending, not in a condescending way, but try and
just losing a few
understand.
games, and Rob sits there in the kitchen going, what's the point of you?
It's understand their purpose. Now I have a much better understanding.
So who would you say is the fussiest eater, and why is it Jack Sims?
Why is it Jack? Jack Sims is not the fussiest eater
I was
at
at
all.
the player award, and literally every dish that was coming out, he's going, "Ask Rob what this is," and I'm like, "Jack, it's chicken. You can see it's chicken. What is wrong with you?"
So that's the thing. I don't think he's a fussy eater. I think he's a naive eater. He doesn't know what he's eating. No, Timo's a good guy. He's yeah, I was thinking of him today actually. He's a good one of the, well, they're all great guys. And he's really easy to talk to and get along with. Who's the fussiest eater? Nads. Nads in the gaffer. Nads in the gaffer. Yeah. Do you know what? A lot of the guys would. I did a questionnaire for them at the beginning of the year. Did every year. New players understand their likes, dislikes, allergies. Go through all that and capture that information to begin with. Then you can rule out a lot of things like pork. We don't do. A lot of the guys don't eat it, not for religious purposes, but just as they don't want to eat it, and that's fine. So we don't have it, and no one misses it, so it's great. And yeah, Nads and Gaffer are definitely the fussiest eaters. Yeah, I can't how easy I got to that decision.
Yeah, saying the gaff is a nice, easy one.
It's
Right.
an easy one, but it's a fussy one. But yeah.
Yeah. So you then kind of you stayed in that role, you've enjoyed that role, and now you're like, do you know what? Let's pile on a little bit more pressure, and you're doing the match day food for both inside hospitality and the outside catering. What again? How did that come about, and what was your thought process behind going? Yeah, all right, I can take that on.
The thought process at the time. So it, they were. I think they were going through the mechanics anyway. I certainly didn't like jump to it and like run to it at all. It was just, it kind of came from a discussion, and I think they were going to part with. They'd already planned to part with the previous caterers. I think that kind of decision was probably made maybe some point when I was still in Harlington. I don't know. I think the new owners maybe wanted to change it up a bit. And so, yeah, we sat and had a conversation, and they're like, "Do you want to take a shot at it?" I was like, I mean, it wasn't as easy as that. We went through the process, as did we were competing against other companies as well. So it wasn't just a here you go, run with it type thing. We had to work to get it. And it's great that we've built on our relationship with, from where we started to where we are now. It's been and just also Wendy, the previous kid who's just left, she's an absolute hero. She's amazing. And there was a crossover time with us both working there. And I think that could have been a recipe for disaster in most places, but she actually made the entire process very, very pain-free. And, she's great. I was always offering her advice to the very last day. And I'm actually seeing her, I think, next week. I spoke to her on the phone 2 days ago. Yeah, just for a catch up and just to see how she's going. And she's also bits to collect as well. But but no, we're going to catch up and have a cup of tea together. So it was the outside. That's a completely different operation, right? So some investment into getting that done and upping the offer. I saw what was on offer. I experienced what was on offer from both hospitality and fan food, and just pulling it into 2025. More menu offerings. So we've got like chicken tenders on there, loaded fries, burgers with like brioche buns. Burgers are made by a butcher. We put an order in 3 days. They're made and they're delivered. So we're getting fresh burgers every week. It's incredible. It's from where it's gone to where it's now. It's phenomenal. Yeah, we've got some vegan options, more vegan options, and veggie options coming as well. And we've got mac and cheese, like pots of mac and cheese on offer, which I think is a great, absolute bargain. And it's proving to be a hit. Adding variety in there, so you can come 1 week and you can have a cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger, and then you can come back the next week and you can have loaded fries, or you can have the chicken tenders. So there's reason to keep coming back for the food. And with the hospitality, it's the same thing. We need to pull that into 2025, but also I was very conscious and sensitive to what's been there for so long, to not go too wild. Some people think I have already. I haven't. I'm just modernizing it, and we've got some great offers for midweek games as well. Some like classic dishes and some more sort of refined stuff on the weekend. But with any change like that, there's a small price adjustment as well. We are using, like, our fish is delivered fresh the morning of the event, and that's like fresh from a fishmonger. Same with the meat. So I've just placed the order this evening before this for our chicken that will arrive for our dish on Saturday. It's getting fresh, as fresh as we could possibly be. And that's, so you're going to be a little bit of a price increase with that. And there is, and we understand it's no good time to put prices up. But it is great. It's a great deal. It's a, you know, no one's raking it in from this, I promise you. But a three courses for, I think it's 38 or 40 pounds. It's great. You've got some of my amazing chocolate there as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll come to that. But you've mentioned a new sort of style of matchday food. I mean, how you're coming in with sort of fresh eyes, as you said, you haven't really done the football thing, so you're not kind of stuck in pie and chips, pie and pint. So how much have you looked into this, and how willing are you to experiment, to dip your toe in and see what happens, see what people like?
We're already experimenting. So I'm collecting data every single match to know what works and what doesn't. So what we have though is not set in stone. I already have, on the note of sort of seeing what everyone else is doing. So the pie and mash type thing. I don't know if that was a pun or not, but that's actually, that's actually happening. So for autumn we have pies. There's the grand reveal. There's no surprise there. Pies for autumn. We're waiting for the weather. What we've got on at the moment is very summery. A lot of it will stay, but pie's coming in autumn, and we'll probably put on a soup as well. We know a lot of people are asking for bovril. That's something I've learned. Why haven't you got bovril? I was like, what like bovril? Like, yeah, bovril. I was like, oh, you want to drink a cup of bovril? Like, yes. I was like, is that a genuine conversation I had with Dan? And I was like, is that a thing still? And he went, yeah, you got to get it. And I was like, I'll get it. So that was ordered yesterday, and it will be at the grounds tomorrow, ready for the weekend. So bovril on tap.
Excellent.
So we're learning. We're collecting data to learn from and adjust. So probably have a soup on in winter as well, because I think it's going to be really good pitch side, and hopefully. It's not pleasant to stand in the rain and the cold watching Sutton win, but if a cup of soup, a really nice hearty cup of soup, can do that and help that experience along, then hopefully that'll keep fans pitch side. I almost said track side then, pitch side.
So you've mentioned some of the feedback. Has there been any unexpected or apart from bovril, any sort of unexpected or funny kind of like what?
Nothing.
Really
Nothing that I've been shown. Nothing that I've been shown. I think I won't repeat what I have seen on the. I think the first day it was released, I think a lot of people were price conscious.
Don't read socials. Don't read socials.
I don't. I'm barely on it. My face isn't on any of our social media and stuff like that, because I'm not that integrated into it. But one of the guys at the club showed me a post they did for us, and the first thing was about prices, and I get it, that's going to happen, but I think you can look at price, but you should also look at value. So if there's value in what you're paying for, then the price. If you're overcharged for a really poor product, then there's reason to complain about price. But I think the value of the product, the quality of the product, and the price, I think, line up very well. But apart from that, no. Have you got any? Have you got any?
No. I love it. All the ones I've had, I've really liked. So.
Oh no, maybe you've collected some from. I thought you might. I thought this
no.
was to show me.
Oh my god! Really, I would do that. Well, I've got some things to tell you.
Maybe, I hear there's a Sutton forum. I haven't delved into that. Maybe there's some things on there that
There,
lurking for
there
me.
was there was the 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 uplift in price, but then a lot of people said, yeah, but then the uplift in the quality is higher than the uplift in price. So it's along the same lines.
That's
Um,
good.
but I haven't. Whilst I was at the Player Awards and another one that you did, I haven't actually done the hospitality yet, so I'm doing it at the weekend.
Fantastic.
So firstly, what's on the menu? I heard chicken.
Yeah, there's chicken on the menu. You've got
Yeah, I'll put you on a
it's
spot there, haven't I?
no, you haven't put me on the spot, but I just want to say what's on the menu. So it's kind of similar to what you've experienced at the awards. It's slightly different. There's a mushroom sauce involved. There's some really nice seasonal veg, and you've got chocolate mousse. You've got cherry gel. You've got macerated cherries. You've got what else have you got in there? Yeah, you've got loads of. There's a real rich dessert, and uh, chocolates at the end, obviously. And so chocolate with chocolate. We did a lemon tart last week. We did a lemon tart last week. That was great. And yeah, we've got 6 different menus. No, sorry, that's a lie. We have more than that. We have 10.
All
So
right.
we have 6 Saturday menus and 4 midweek menus that we rotate through, so we can give lots of variety. So if let's say you went to last week's game on Saturday, coming to this Saturday, you wouldn't experience the same food. So it's giving something that it's always something new to explore, and we would love feedback. I asked for feedback from some people last week. Some were very amazing and gave some, and it was stellar. They said they really enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. There's a new team front of house as well. Colin, who's joined us a couple of weeks back, he's got. I was amazed when I saw his CV. So I called him. I was like, "Did I come in tomorrow for an interview?" He said, "Yeah." He's got He served the Queen. He's served like huge financiers in the city on like director level, like top floor skyscraper director boxes. He's worked at such prestigious events for prestigious people. I was like, oh wow, this is great. And yeah, come on in. We'll try and find space for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he did his first hospitality event last Saturday and smashed it. Did great. And he'll only get better with more time in the place.
especially when he gets to know people as well, because he'll recognise people.
From, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, yeah. So
yeah.
spread the word, yeah, spread the word.
Yeah, no, that's it. This is where I was going to say. This is the plug time, and you've covered a lot of it. But if anyone hasn't tried it yet, how would you
Oh,
encourage them to give it a go?
I think the best way, the most efficient and effective way to give it a go is a raffle. So we sat and we put our heads together a couple of weeks ago and we're like, how can we, because not every fan in the stadium is going to have the means to, it's the same any football club, you're not going to have the means to go and spend 40 quid Saturday afternoon, plus your ticket, plus your beer, speaking of, and they're not going to have the means to do so. So I was like, let's run a raffle. I mean, community football, there's raffles, there's a raffle in the hospitality that goes on. I think that raised a good amount of money last week. But we came up with the idea of, if you see people wandering around, buy a strip of raffle tickets. It's going to be 5 quid. Don't come out, I think it's £5 for a strip of tickets, or maybe 8 for us. But that's a real great way to get in there. And I'm not sure how many seats they're offering. I think the more people buy it, the more they're going to offer. I think maybe I don't know. I think it started at 2 people to go, or one person. Sorry, 2 people plus their ones. I think is the right thing. But yeah, Max has got all the information on that at the club. Max is doing a stellar job over there, and I think they're selling them in the club shop as well. Um,
Yeah,
but um, but yeah, that's a great way I think to get in there and experience it if you can't if you don't have the cash to be able to do so. So I get it. It's not or save it for a special event. If there's a special occasion,
Yep.
that's great. A birthday, anniversary, and let us know in advance if that is the case, and we could do something special, birthday cake, surprise, or something like that. There's so many things.
So many things, and you didn't mention the wonderful interviews that go on while everyone's eating. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'll let that go.
So I'm not privy to these. I'm trying to keep everything running on board in the kitchen.
You're in the kitchen. You didn't know the moron standing on stage. It's fine. Right. You'll be pleased to know we're wrapping up. This is the silly business question. So there's two of them. 5 years, we're sitting down to have another chat. What your longer term hopes? Where would you like us to be, food hospitality wise, in 5 years?
I think at capacity, and I think with a new look in that event space needs a little bit of love, but I think that comes with cost and it has to be warranted as well. We have to get to capacity first. We're doing some improvements as we go, as I'm personally doing that helping with the club do that as well, for the kitchen also, and back up a couple of leagues, or back up a league, and having that strong foundation. We need that strong foundation there to make those improvements. But I'd love to see that aspect of the club be like flourishing. An extra stand, an extra 2,000 people match day.
Yep. You can take it. You can do it.
Yeah.
Right. I asked Aaron Jones this question. So if anyone's not seen that interview yet, here's your plug. Go and watch that one. He also balances two different careers. I know yours is a similar career, but it's two different things. And I'll tell you his answer. But what's your advice to anyone who's trying to juggle two different careers?
Don't sacrifice everything. Not in the sense, in sense of time. Make sure your time. I fall foul of that all the time, and sometimes neglect other things. Really managing your time and knowing when to say, okay, enough. Because I think as an entrepreneur, as your own business, it's quite easy to keep saying yes to things. And I think when like enough's enough. Not enough's enough, but just pump the brakes a little bit, regain control. Yeah, take control a bit, and then go again, reset, go again, and allowing yourself that break. That's definitely key. Keep hydrated as well. Yeah, and don't stare at your computer until midnight. You'll be better in the morning. I've done that so many times, just like working until the wee hours, and then wake up just feeling exhausted. Just set yourself up a list, set yourself a time frame, and stick to it. And make mistakes early on as well, and don't lose too much money in the process, and then recover it.
Your first word that you started that with was Aaron's advice, and it was don't. Just do one thing, stick with it, be good at it, and do one. So that's why I was laughing when you said don't. I was like, come on, you can't be giving that.
I think there is things. I think back when I was growing as well, it's like, oh, don't want to do the 9 to 5. Something that actually the 9 to 5 is perfectly structured. You get those 2 days off. You can take your leave. You can switch off and shut down. If your own business, you can't. You have to sacrifice so much. So, yeah, don't is one thing, but also do. If you want to do it with someone who's done it before, or surround yourself with people who have experience. Definitely surround yourself with people who have experience, and make the mistakes early on enough to be able to keep going. But don't.
Excellent. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Sutton Podcast. As always, we appreciate everyone's attention and feedback. Follow, like, and share the episode at Sutton Podcast on all social medias. Subscribe. Give us a review on any of them as well. Give us the thumbs up on YouTube. You know I love the thumbs up on YouTube. Big thank you to Rob. I'm very much looking forward to the food on Saturday. So I'll be doing the two. I'll be doing the food, and then jumping up and doing a little interview, and then jumping back down for my food. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And also, when you're going to EXO online, don't forget to put the code Sutton Podcast in. It won't do anything at all, but I like telling you to do that just because I think it's funny. And thanks to everyone for listening. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Sutton Podcast. Take care, and we will catch up soon. Bye-bye.
United!